You know, when a boy and a girl, first they have a crush, and then they like each other, then they express their desire for each other, and then they get into relationship, right? We've all been there. You know what I'm talking about, right? So I think most of you will be able to relate to what I'm saying. Just think about this for a second. From the moment you start having feelings for each other, you felt that you were on cloud 9 when she said, yes, I'd like to be your girlfriend. Okay? You asked her out, she said yes. So that was a moment for celebration. But tell me, no sooner, no later, didn't something like this happen to you? Up until that point, you lived in no fear for what might happen to her or what might happen to him. But the moment that you felt that she was yours, you haven't tied the knot yet, but you feel that she's yours, she's your partner to be, she's going to be your life partner. I say she, you can, the she's here can think of the he's, okay? Otherwise I have to give you both sides of the argument, right? So I'll tell you, talk about one side of the equation, you can think of the other side. So the moment she said, yes, I would like to go out with you, didn't a fear come into your mind like, what if she betrays me? What if someone else tries to snatch her from me? Didn't these feelings, thoughts come into your mind at least, once in a while? When you held hands and you walked along the street, if ever she pulled her hand away from you, and in that moment you also saw another guy walking up to you, what happens? Tell me what goes through your mind at that time. Suspicion? Fear? Oh my God, what's going on? Why did she just do that? See, maybe you might feel that this is not the moment to ask her about it, but you will start thinking about it. It'll worry you. It'll weigh, it'll be a burden to you until one day you'll ask her, maybe right at the end of that journey, right? You're going out, you've gone to the movies, you've gone to the restaurant, had a meal, and then right at the beginning, as soon as you left home, she did that to you, and then at the end of the day, when you're ready to depart, or you're dropping her off at her house, or maybe even the following day you send a text message. Hun, I just meant to ask you, it's not like it's anything serious or anything, but I was holding your hand yesterday while we were out. Why did you pull your hand away when we saw that guy walk up to us? I'm just curious. It's not like I have any suspicions or anything. See, from the time that happened to the moment you ask this question, what's going on in your mind? You're suffering. You're suffering. This is the suffering that we call fear. This is terrible. If ever you attach yourself to something, the Buddha says, there's not a moment that passes from that point where you are not suffering. And I will prove that point to you before I leave today. So much so that you will begin to wonder, why do I attach? But you may not be able to stop it immediately. That's okay. At least you have to fall out of love with attachment. Then we can start talking about divorce. But first, you have to fall out of love with it. What divorce am I talking about here? The divorce with attachment. We are all so bound to attachment. We don't feel that it's a wrong thing. We don't feel that it does us any harm. Until we begin to understand some of the things that the Buddha has taught us. So here's my argument to you. If ever you find yourself attached to something, there is never, not a second passes by where you are not living in suffering. Let me prove this point to you. I'll go back to the girl, because it's a familiar experience for most of us. When you first saw her, let's go back to when you first saw her, that first sight of her and you thought, she's pretty. Perhaps you were in chemistry class. I know, you don't learn chemistry in grade 2, right? I forget. I have to apply to the modern day and age, right? I used to preach about chemistry class because I thought, that's when things start to happen. Chemistry happens in chemistry class. But now it doesn't have to, you don't have to wait till chemistry class. You can start from, right at the ripe young age of 7, 8, 9, 10, so on. At this tender age. So anyhow, whenever it happened, right? So you caught a glimpse of her. You know, she was in one of the front seats. You were about 2 seats back, right? And all of a sudden, she just turned her head. She just wanted to look at one of her friends, but you thought she was looking at you. She jostled her hair, looked at, just by accident, your eyes met. And then you thought, I think she's interested. She's pretty. I'm certainly interested. So in that moment, attachment took over. Now let's see what happens after that. Attachment has now taken over. It's almost like your mind is now hijacked. When an aircraft is hijacked, who has control? The pilot? No. The pilot may be holding on to the, what do you call them? The what? Joysticks. Yes? Joysticks? Okay. Steering wheel. It's not a steering wheel. Anyone know the name for that? Joystick, sir. Thank you. So the pilot's holding on to the joystick. But who calls the shots? Turn left, turn right, up, down, that airport. No, into the towers. Who calls that out? The hijackers. Yeah? So although the pilot seems to be in control, he's not really. When attachment takes over your mind, ladies and gentlemen, you are no longer in control. You have just been mind-jacked.